Hi, my name is Allison Miller. Welcome to Spiritual Wellness. This week, we're going to look at the pause and the pause between the pose, the pause between the breath. And we're going to kind of see if we can connect with that inner home, with Purusha, that which rests in the city of the body, by exploring the pause, by exploring that space between the breath. So grab a mat, grab some yoga props, and join me for this practice to embrace the pause. We're actually going to start out lying on our backs today. So go ahead and clear your mat, make a little bit of space, and take a lie down. As you kind of come on down to your mat, start to really feel into the body. Start to notice the weight of the hips, the heels, the back of the head and the shoulders. Just let yourself get pretty heavy here. I wanted to start out on our back today just so we could really kind of land in our body. Sometimes we've been running around busy. The best thing that we can do is just lay down on the ground and feel the earth and start to come back into the body. I want this next half hour, 40 minutes or so, just to be all about exploring your inner world. We want the mind to stop flowing outward and start to really look inward. So make a conscious effort now to start to tune out any external distraction. It's not that outside noises aren't still happening, it's just that they're a little less important, a little less interesting. You're placing a little less judgment on identifying what they are or saying whether they're good or bad. And you're tuning into the thought. Tuning into the breath. You can tune into just noticing, kind of more than noticing the thought itself. I want you to start now to notice that space that you find between thoughts. So it might just be a second, it might just be a split second, or it could be a little longer pause, but just putting more interest, more attention on that space between the thoughts now. And after taking a few breaths, you notice the mind has started to get pulled to some external thing. It's just consciously bringing it back. Reminding yourself that the goal today is to flow inward. And today's practice will be gentle. The asanas, the yoga poses that we'll practice are all about helping you tune in and get ready for meditation. So there will be a physical benefit, but I want you to just spend less time thinking about the physical benefit of each asana and spend a bit more time just looking within and noticing how the energy body, how the breath, how the mind is responding to the pose. All right, placing hands at your sides. If you took your legs straight for that opening breath work, you can bring feet to the floor now with the knees bent. We're going to take just a few rounds of bridge using the breath. So on your inhale, go ahead and lift the hips up. On your exhale, lower them down. A few more rounds here, lifting on the in-breath, lowering on the out-breath. Each movement is just tied to breath. So as we move through our practice today, don't generally worry about going at the same pace through these poses as myself. Try to think more about connecting to your breath and letting the inhale lift the hips, letting the exhale lower them. All right, next time the hips come down, take just a moment to pause. And in the pause, in this interoceptive pause, I want you to really just look, feel. Where do you feel sensation? What feels interesting? All right, we're going to switch it up a little bit here now. So we'll inhale, take the arms long overhead. As you exhale, lift the knees up lift the feet up off of the floor. Let the knees come partway towards the chest. As you inhale, we'll straighten the legs now, reach them toward the ceiling. As you exhale, you could lower the feet and the arms back to your side. So this next inhale, arms sweep overhead within your range of motion. As you exhale, lift the feet up off of the floor. Inhale, take the legs straight. And then as you exhale, you could lower the feet, lower the arms back down to that starting position. Keep moving here, your breath. So inhale, arms overhead. As you exhale, keep the knees together, bring them up to 90, feet off the floor. Inhale, straighten the legs. As you exhale, you can bend the knees, let the arms float down as the feet return to the mat. Let's do this sequence 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale, legs lift. Inhale, legs straighten. Exhale, lower everything down. And one more time. I'll be silent. You know the routine. Just move with your breath. All right, just a moment then to again pause here at the end of this one. Just feel a couple nice breaths into the diaphragm, noticing the lower ribs inflate with breath. As you exhale, you might pull the navel in just a bit. All right, we're going to take knees to our chest now, Apanasana. And feel free just to take a couple of breaths here where you might rock to side or circle the knees out a bit. And then I want you to place one hand on each knee, right hand on right knee, left hand on left knee. And as you inhale, you can let the knees move away, arms straighten. As you exhale, bend the elbows, bring the knees toward the chest. So each inhale, just gently moving the knees away, straightening the arms. Each exhale, bend the elbows, knees toward the chest. So this would be a nice practice to use in the evening for sleep prep too. It's designed to calm. Keep moving with your breath. Any time of day though, why not bring in a little bit more calm, right? Sometimes right away in the morning, we might want a little bit more energizing. But for most of us, almost any time of the day is a good time to kind of bring in this opposite quality, bring in this softness, this slowness, this general unmoving, doing, going too fast. All right, next time you exhale, just give the knees one more hug here in toward the chest. Release the legs, take them long, let's stretch, arms overhead, stretch the legs, point the toes, just take one full body stretch here. So if you want to kind of point and flex toes or roll ankles or wrists here, that can often be very soothing for the nervous system too. All right, bring the arms back down to your side. Go ahead and roll to your right or your left and come on up to seated. If you want to slide a cushion or a blanket or anything in underneath your bottom, that might make seated a little more comfortable for you. Sometimes it helps to get the hips just a little bit higher. Let's take a moment to bring our hands together at our heart, palms to touch. We've only done just a little bit of yoga, just a little bit of focus on breath, but take a moment just to notice how your energy might have already shifted. Working with this notion of the seer, the witness, Purusha, our inner luminosity. We often can't see it when we're so busy, when the mind is so busy attaching itself to all of the external. This practice today is about bringing more of a one-pointed focus into this little bit of time in our day. And when we start to practice this one-pointed focus, just being more focused on breath, more focused on the inner world, many obstacles start to fade away. The Yoga Sutras say that concentration or one-pointed focus helps to remove obstacles. Take a moment to set an intention for your practice today. Choose something meaningful to yourself. You can lightly blink the eyes open. Let the hands come down to your sides. And what we're going to do is just kind of yield, kind of take a little dip to the right as we exhale. When you inhale, you can come up. And then as you exhale, you're just going to kind of yield, a little dip to the left. Inhale up. Exhale, dip to the right. Inhale up. So we're getting a little kind of lateral, kind of side body stretch. Playing with this notion of yielding or letting go as we kind of fall to the one side. Lift back up. And just yield, fall to the other side. And up. A couple more times to each side. All of these kind of more spiritual practices can be nice to do with eyes closed. You don't have to, but you might experiment with it, especially on poses where balance isn't an issue. All right, I'm gonna finish up the one that you're on and take just a moment to pause. Just remembering throughout practice today that the pause is even more important than the pose itself. The pause is where we can start to connect with that inner light, that inner being. All right, let's go ahead and take ourselves around to hands and knees. If you want to add the knees, I'm a big kind of fan of props because the yoga practice in and of itself can over time honestly start to wear a little bit on some of our joints if we're not careful, if we overdo it, if we try to do every pose at 152%, as a lot of us like to do things, we are going to start to possibly cause a little wear and tear. It doesn't hurt to be kind to your body and use a little prop. So let's put the blanket under the knees if you choose. Don't feel like you have to use props though either. That's my kind of up on my soapbox here about props. I just want people to feel good using them when you need them. All right, go ahead, bounce off this right foot a few times. Just stretch out the right calf. And then inhale, lift the right foot up. I have my hands on blocks. Your choice to have them on the floor. Bring the right foot here forward between the hands. And on your inhale, fingertips are touching down. We're just going to really kind of curl the heart open. Maybe lift the gaze up a little. As you exhale, I want you to straighten out that right leg any amount and keep the spine a little bit long too. So on your inhale, come forward into low lunge. Let the hips sink forward. Heart open up. On your exhale, straighten the front leg, half split. Inhale, come forward, low lunge. Exhale back, half split. Now, inhale and come forward into the low lunge. Keep the fingertips on the blocks or the floor. I'm going to give you option now to add in a little bit of arm here in our low lunge and just take a peek here as we hold low lunge. Make sure the knee is not extending out past the ankle, but is in fact kind of stacked over that ankle here on the right. And then as you inhale, option to take the arms up, maybe the gaze follows. As you exhale, just take the arms back to about shoulder height. Inhale up. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together just a little bit, soften the elbows. One more time, inhale up. And exhale, beautiful. Take the hands down to the blocks of the floor and just take that right foot back, right knee back to where we started. And then we'll take the left foot back and we'll bounce off the ball of the left foot a few times, just stretching out the calf muscle. And now on an inhale, lift the left foot up. As you exhale, bring it forward between the hands. Again, fingertips can be up on the blocks or just on the floor. And on our inhale, we're going to kind of curl open, lift the heart, let the hips sink forward. As you exhale, straighten this front leg any amount. Keep the spine long. Inhale, come forward with the hips, lift the gaze. And if this is at all uncomfortable, if you're using blocks or paper towel rolls are good, you can go up to the higher setting with your blocks. Just bring the floor up to you even a little bit more if there's a lot of tightness in the back of the leg. A couple more times here. Inhale forward. And exhale back. All right, next time you inhale forward. Fingertips to the blocks. Exhale and sink into the hips a little. On your inhale, option now to lift the arms up. Maybe the gaze follows up to the fingers. Exhale, soften the elbows. Let the arms lower to about shoulder height. Inhale up. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together just a little bit. Pull the belly in. Inhale. Exhale. Go ahead, bring hands down. Take a full inhale and exhale here in the lunge. On your inhale, go ahead and lift the right foot up and then hop the right foot forward to the top of your mat. Take your exhale and on your inhale, lift your arms up overhead. Exhale, arms down to your sides. Standing tall here, mountain pose. Just kind of feel that the feet are fairly equally planted on the mat. Little softness in the knees. Draw the shoulders back a little bit here. I'm going to work through a forward bend with you now. We're going to try to really use a structural breath to make sure that our back body is supported in our forward bend. So we're going to take our time, move through it here a few times. First round or two here, we're just going to have hands on our thighs, and they're just going to kind of slide down the legs. And then I'm going to offer some arm variations that will make it a little bit more challenging and more strengthening for the low back. However, if you have low back issues, kind of be mindful with the arm variations. Maybe don't take them. Just keep the hands at the starting position rather than taking the arm variations if you feel any sensitivity in the low back. All right, so we'll start with feet about hip width apart. Soften your knees here. We're going to inhale and kind of draw the shoulders back, lengthen the crown of the head up toward the ceiling. As you exhale, you can somewhat lead with the heart here. Keep the back body nice and long and pull the belly in as you exhale. Just go a little ways down and then inhale and come back up. And now this next exhale, I want you to pull in low belly and then your middle belly and then your upper belly as you exhale. Let's just go halfway down at the most, maybe even less if half is too much. So inhale and come up. So a couple more times here without adding arms in. We're just going to pull in low belly, really focus on the breath, mid belly, and then upper belly on our exhale. And then as you inhale, kind of press through the feet, lengthen the spine, and come up to inhale. As you exhale, low belly, mid belly, upper belly pulls in. And now inhale, keep the spine long. Think about lengthening, press through the feet, use the core and the glutes to come up. All right, so any low back issues present, I want you to keep just doing this one with hands at the thighs. Some of you, though, can kind of move up to cactus arms. This is going to be our kind of medium intensity variation. And then arms straight overhead is going to be the most intense variation. So inhale and take arms up or out to cactus, whichever your choice is, or keep them at your thighs. Inhale, arms are at their highest position. When you exhale, let's go to that halfway position. Pull the low belly, mid belly, upper belly. Now press through the feet, kind of root to rise. Inhale, take the arms up. Let's just go halfway again. I'm going to take cactus arms this time. So pull in the low belly, mid belly. That exhale is really helping to support on the inhale. Come on back up and use the core and the glutes. Keep the spine long. Couple more times here. Exhale. See if you can go maybe a little farther than halfway on this exhale. Keep the knees kind of soft. Press through the feet. Open the heart. Keep the spine long to inhale. Exhale. Don't forget about this work in the belly. This is the structural breath. It's what's really going to make the back safe here as we go into our forward folds. And think about more bend in the knee too, if there's any pain in the low back. Increasing the bend in the knee can help too. All right, next time you're down in your exhale position, go ahead and release the arms. You can use blocks or you can let the hands just kind of hang down. And then take a couple breaths here in the forward fold. And we're really going to inhale and lengthen our spine. Exhale and sink into it. Inhale to lengthen, just maybe kind of slightly lift the spine. Exhale, fold in. A couple more breaths here in the forward fold. All right, inhale. Take the arms back up to that starting position, maybe overhead, maybe cactus. And then exhale, take them down to your sides. And take just a moment to notice now. We did, good amount of forward bending, strengthening for the low back, using that structural breath. Just notice what feels good and alive. All right. I'm going to take the legs a little bit wide now. A little bit wider than the hips. And take the arms up into a T. Tip the right toes out for me. Keep the left foot kind of pointing toward the long edge of your mat. And as you exhale, just tip to your right. As you inhale, come up. See if you can incorporate just a little bit of that structural breath, that kind of pull the navel in, low belly, mid belly, upper belly on the exhale, and then inhale. Use your core to come up. And last one. Take just a couple breaths here in Trikonasana. Turn that back toe in just a touch if you like. Might feel a little better to turn it in a bit. Keep the gaze on the horizon, or even a little bit more down here on your Trikonasana. No need to look up to that top hand. It's not so good for the neck. All right, inhale and come up. Turn both feet toward the long edge of your mat, and then let your arms float down. Take just a moment to pause. Again, find the breath and feel the feet on the earth. These simple things, just finding the breath, feeling the feet on the earth, can help us feel a lot more connected. Can help us kind of turn within any time throughout the day. I use them throughout the day to come back into my body. All right, turn the left toes toward the back of your mat now. Right foot can stay where it's at. Lift the arms up to shoulder height. As you exhale, pull the belly in, low belly, mid belly, upper belly. Tip into a triangle. Inhale up. Exhale, use the structural breath, use the core. And inhale up. Couple more times. Hopefully letting energy flow inward. The external is just less interesting at the moment. Everything amazing that's going on the inside. All right, next time you're in the pose, let's hold it just a couple breaths. Hand can lightly rest at the shin here, arm up. You can always use a block on the bottom hand though too. Keep the gaze on the horizon or even a little down. Kind of lengthening out of that right hip through the crown of the head. More space in the side body. All right, on an inhale, use your core. Come back up, lower the arms as you exhale. And just a moment to pause. And then step the feet together to a mountain pose. Okay, we're just gonna come onto our belly now. You can come down through all fours. Slide your blocks, props out of the way. And come on down to all fours. We're gonna take a cobra variation. So just a reminder, cobra pose would be hands underneath the shoulders, palms down, kind of drawing the elbows back in towards the body. Pressing the feet and the hips, the thighs into the mat. We lift the head and the chest when we take cobra pose, right? And then we exhale and lower. And now today we're going to do just that thing, but we're going to inhale. Take the right arm and slide it forward as you lift the head and the chest. As you exhale, the forehead can come down, the right hand back to where we started. Inhale, left arm slides forward. Head lifts. As you exhale, lower down. Try to keep that engagement a couple more times here to slide right hand, lift head, pressing through the thighs, through the feet as you lift. Exhale, lower. Left hand this time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Doesn't have to be a big slide either. It could just move a little bit forward on that right hand. Exhale, lower. Now let's do about 3 times, doing both arms. So inhale, both slide forward as the head lifts. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale. So you can slide the arms all the way forward. Inhale. And exhale. Slide and release. Hands under the head, foreheads under the hands under the forehead. Take a couple breaths here. Breathe into the back body, let the back body release. All right, I'll have you roll to your right or left. Go ahead and press up to seated. Taking a comfortable seat, we're just going to take a couple breaths here. Now let's take the right arm and lift it up toward the ceiling, lengthening through the right side body. As you exhale, take the right hand to the left knee. Take the left hand down behind you. Just simple seated twist. Nothing real fancy here. Each inhale, think about lengthening the spine a little bit. Each exhale, just twist a tiny bit deeper. Let's take both arms up now on an inhale. Exhale, lower the right arm. Inhale, reach up through the left fingertips. As you exhale, maintain the length of the spine. Twist to the left, or twist to the right rather, left hand down to the right knee. Each inhale, think about lengthening the spine. Each exhale, just twist a little bit deeper. One more breath. Go ahead and untwist, come back to center. Let's change the cross of your leg, put the opposite leg on top. And you can always, rather than easy seat, just have legs straight out here too, that's fine. Sukhasana, or legs straight out. Go ahead and walk your hands forward a little bit here now into the forward fold. See if you can keep lengthening the spine on the in-breath and sink down a little bit on the out-breath. And it might be a little bit easier to put some kind of a cushion underneath your bottom here if you need to. You can always use a bolster or a couple of pillows underneath the head just to kind of find a landing place. Try to keep the spine long. Don't let the back body round too much here. Try to keep the spine long. All right, inhale, come on back up. Take an exhale, bring hands together at the heart here, palms to touch. And sealing in the asana portion of our practice. Come around and find Savasana now. So grab a pillow a little one to put underneath your head is nice. A bolster. Of course, you can always just lie on the floor for Savasana, but I really believe in letting this time here on our mat be a kind of nurturing, kind experience for our bodies. So sometimes just having a little prop or two can make it a little more comfortable. And it's kind of worth it to find just a little more comfort in your Shavasana. It's worth it. Grab a couple of pillows, make yourself cozy. Take a few minutes here to rest. You can stay in Shavasana. I'm going to come up just so I can guide you through a little bit of relaxation. And definitely, if there's any discomfort in the low back as we move into Shavasana, please for sure put something under the knees. It may be optional in other cases, but when it comes to low back stuff, a bend in the knees is going to feel better. You can always lie on your side too. Start to notice your breath in through your nose and out. Try to let the body relax. You might just tune in and relax any tension across the soles of the feet. Try to relax the lower legs. Soften around the kneecaps. Soften the upper thighs. Soften the hips and the glutes. Release the abdominals. Taking a moment just to notice what's happening in the abdomen. Feeling the belly inflate with breath and then deflate. Moving your awareness up. Feel these next few breaths. Just kind of notice how the breath will stretch those little muscles in between the ribs. Just feel a little expansion between the ribs with each in-breath. And a little softening with each out-breath. Take a moment to soften the shoulders and the neck. Just scan down the length of your arms. Just mentally move awareness down the length of the arms. Take a second to pause and feel sensation around the palms of the hands. Softening the length of the neck, and the head, just kind of feeling the back of the head heavy into the mat so the neck can release and soften. Notice if you're holding any tension in the jaw. Notice if there's a little space between the lips. There's a little space between the teeth, just how the tongue is resting in the mouth. Softening any tension across the brow. We're going to land now with awareness of the breath. We're going to just be aware of that space just under the nostrils, so that upper lip, kind of right where the breath is just slowly moving in through the body, in through the nose and out through the nose. And when you inhale, see if you can just feel that breath move across that space, just full the nostrils, the upper lip. Try to notice the sensation of the breath in that same space on the exhale. And you can focus on just starting to make the breath slow, subtle, and smooth. Particularly seeing if the exhale could be a bit longer and smoother. You might be able to notice a little bit of coolness on the inhale. Just a little warmth on the exhale. And now keeping this little bit of awareness on that space, that threshold where the breath is just entering the body across the upper lip. See if you can start to just be inquisitive about that space again between the breaths. Just those little momentary glimpses of consciousness that you might find in between thoughts, in between breaths. That's where we're looking, just to really connect within with Purusha, that which resides in the city of the body. Our inner consciousness. When we think about Purusha, when we think about luminosity, there's an infiniteness to this part of ourselves. So the body has a finite space that it takes up, but the consciousness is infinite. It can take up any amount of space. And the body we look at as being mortal. Consciousness is, in fact, immortal. And again, when we connect, we start to turn our attention inward, and we sort of gain control of the wild forces of the mind. We can start to connect more deeply with Purusha, with that which is infinite and immortal within us. That which is just limitless joy and luminosity. It's a place inside us that can't be broken. Alright, you can start to just gently wiggle fingers and toes now. Pretty good relaxation there. You might take a full body stretch just to wake the body back up. Take your time and roll to your side. There's no rush. As you come onto your side, use your arm, your upper arm to push you up to seated. And we'll come to a comfortable seat and bring hands together, palms to touch at the heart. Take just a moment to seal in our practice. Slight bow forward, just a little tug of the chin here. We'll have you bring your thumbs up to your center of your forehead, just lightly touch here, connecting wisdom to our thoughts. Bring the thumbs to our lips, connecting kindness to your words. And bring the thumbs back to the heart. And just connect again with that loving, expansive consciousness, that which resides here in the city of the body. And know that when we're being loving and kind to ourselves, it's much easier to be loving and kind to those around us. This light in me honors and salutes the light in each of you. We'll bow forward. I thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this practice to connect with the pause and to find a little bit more peace and calm. I'll see you next time.